Alright, so we got the full summary for 1121. We're going over the full chapter here. A lot that we weren't able to go over yesterday, such as more into possibly Shanks' brother or just the top holy knight, as well as a double panel at the end of the chapter that's so good that it causes Redon to curse. But let's get into it. So the chapter starts with Saturn attacking Bonnie and Kuma with his poisonous legs. The giants put up their shields together to block the attacks. Luffy looks around and sees Bonnie transformed into Nika form again, trying to get up. She is still exhausted. Luffy punches one of Saturn's attacks away from Bonnie, but he refuses to attack Saturn himself. Okay, so like we talked about, Bonnie is going back into Nika form. I don't think she needed to eat anything like Luffy, and I guess she could just do this whenever she wants. Aside from that, Luffy punching away Saturn's attacks, but like not actually attacking him, is because Luffy just gave up on it because of his regeneration abilities. Because since he can't like quote unquote defeat him, he kind of just removes him from the battle. This also sets up, of course, Luffy figuring out how to actually damage the Gorosei. But aside from that, Luffy ultimately wants Bonnie to like get her revenge on Saturn essentially and hitting him with a good attack, even though it's not going to take him out completely, as we'll see. Luffy says, "Bonnie, you are the one that must do it." Bonnie looks at Saturn angry and finally gets up and floats in the air ready to fight. Cut to Vegapunk's message that is his closing speech. Vegapunk says the day that the same incident as the Void Sentry will occur again, because the weapons that caused the disaster still remain intentionally in this world. While Vegapunk says that we can see Vivi and Shirahoshi's reactions. In Skypiea, Konis and Asa arrive to the palace to greet Wiper's group. All of them are unaware of Vegapunk's broadcast. So I think it's pretty interesting that Vegapunk is mentioning the ancient weapons here, and then we see Vivi and Shirahoshi's reactions. Shirahoshi, of course, is Poseidon, but Vivi being included in this sequence makes me think more into that theory about Imu taking over the body of Lily, who is Vivi's distant relative from the Void Century, because only she could control Uranus. So that would mean that in this sequence, you know, Vivi is representing Uranus and Shirahoshi is representing Poseidon. Vegapunk says because the heirs of the races that were to be erased from history still remain. While Vegapunk talks, we see Kuma and Elbaf's ship, and then a flashback of his conversation with Vegapunk about Buccaneers. Then we see Marco thinking about Whitebeard, and when he talked about the land of gods that existed in the Red Line. We can see King too thinking about the Lunarians. He's bandaged in a dark room. Finally, we see Pudding in a cell. She remembers her childhood when children messed with her for having 3 eyes. Okay, so we got an update on King here. I guess he's in jail or maybe even impelled down possibly. And of course we have Pudding, who was captured in order to use her third eye ability to possibly read the poneglyphs, I assume. Cut to Elbaf's ship again. Saturn still tries to attack Bonnie, but Luffy blocks all of his attacks. Bonnie remembers the first time Saturn and Kuma saw each other in God Valley. She remembers Ginny too, when Bonnie was a baby and when Saturn told Bonnie that he was the one that subjugated her mother to experiments. Bonnie says, "How dare you did all that to my dad and mom? There is no way you guys are gods." But God do exists. We see reactions of Sentomaru and Kizaru while Bonnie is talking. Kizaru is still lying down with the ellipsis bubble. Then Bonnie remembers Kuma talking about Nika while she shouts at Saturn in tears. Kuma, in the past, says he will definitely come to save you. Bonnie says, "And Hero do exists. I really wanted us 3 to live together. I even thought that I want to die if I end up alone." Then Bonnie imagines a life where she is a baby living with both Kuma and Ginny. Kuma and Ginny say, "Bonnie, thank you for being born." Bonnie says, "But I still lives because they too wish me to." Saturn says, "You darn insects." In an epic double spread, Bonnie and Giant Luffy are preparing to do a combo attack against Saturn. While that happens, Vegapunk's message continues. Vegapunk says, "When the disaster comes, please take care of yourself. I believe in wisdom of mankind. I believe in science." Now we can see Iceberg, Judge, and Caesar having an argument. In Herodis reactions. In Egghead Shore, Emeth is still facing Jupiter and Mercury. In another epic double spread, we can see Luffy and Bonnie's combo attack. Bonnie punches Saturn's face with a giant punch, and Luffy, in giant form behind her, punches the rest of Saturn's body. Saturn's body is blown to pieces. His body is full of holes due to punches, and some of his legs and horns have been pulled up and starts falling to the sea. All giants cheer Bonnie and Luffy. Even Kuma seems is smiling a bit. All right, so this is like a crazy moment for sure. Bonnie is, yeah, ridiculously powerful in this form. Not as powerful as Luffy, of course, but still strong enough to do this to Saturn. I mean, of course, with the assistance of Luffy, but still. Granted, the Gorosei have weird scaling, you know, because Dory and Bragi came in and they were able to compete against them somehow. And on top of that, Kuma did lay out Saturn with a punch himself. So it's like, who's to say, but still, I guess she's pretty powerful in her pseudo Nika form. The Thousand Sunny is about to fall near Elbaf's ship, and we see Usopp, Chopper, Jinbei, and Zoro. Vegapunk continues. He says the death of legends like Roger and Whitebeard are merely the opening curtain for the new age, for those who can no longer be stopped. Those people are the ones who are the closest to the truth. Maybe Roger set the trigger for it to be this way from the very start. We see a flashback of Roger's speech before he was executed in chapter 1. Roger says, "My treasure, it's yours if you want it. Try and find it. I left all the world had to offer in that place." Vegapunk says, "But it's not certain that the person Joy Boy hoped for will be the one who will get his hands on that." So I guess this goes into, it's more of a gamble of who's going to claim the One Piece. I guess Joy Boy set it up so that it can be claimed by anyone essentially, but he just hopes that it's Joy Boy, meaning that, you know, it could also be obtained by Blackbeard or even Buggy. In Hachinosu, all the pirates are growing restless waiting for Teach's return. They want to set sail already. In Sabaody, Rayleigh got drunk and fell asleep. Shaki says, "Ray-san, you will catch cold staying like this." On the Red Force, Shanks is getting drunk too like Rayleigh. Red Hair pirates say, "Boss, you drank too much," and Shanks says, "Shut up, I didn't drink." At the Cross Guild, all men are in awe from Buggy's deep connection to the true history. They are excited. We see Crocodile and Mihawk staring in silence. They look annoyed. Buggy is in shock saying, "Huh? Huh?" In the Marines' headquarters, some Marines start saying that they need to go and get it before anyone else does. Then we return to Vegapunk's closing line of the chapter. He says, "Whether it will be the one Joy Boy wished or not, the fate of the world will be decided by the one who claims it." In an effing amazing final double page of the chapter, we can see the final Vegapunk sentence along with a collage of panels with the most relevant characters in One Piece now. Luffy, Blackbeard, Shanks, Buggy, Aki Inu, Dragon, Emu, Kobe, Kuzan, Figurlin, Garling, and Sabo. Vegapunk says, "By the one who will claim the One Piece." But in that collage of panels, there's one more mysterious character in shadows. A mysterious man with a cape that holds a sword similar to Shanks' sword. End of chapter. But like we talked about yesterday, it's very possible that this silhouetted mysterious character with a similar sword to Shanks is Shanks' brother or relative of some sort. And the fact that Shanks randomly shows up in this chapter along with Figurlin Garling makes me think that this is what's going on here. But ultimately, we'll just have to wait, I guess. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that this is Shanks' relative? And if you liked the video, guys, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.